People do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. Hello my friend, how are you? I wish and hope you are all staying strong and healthy and positive despite all that's going on in the world as we are approaching the end of 2020. Thank you kindly for tuning in to Fighter Parents Live podcast and spending your precious time with me again. If this is your very first time listening to this show, please welcome. My name is Peter Graus at fighterparent.com and I'm your host for this next solocast episode. Before we go ahead and dive into today's episode though, I have a small favor to ask of you here. Firstly, I would really love if you guys let me know you're listening by tagging me on Instagram at fighterpreneur with a screenshot of this episode or simply shoot me a message wherever in the world you happen to be, whatever you're doing. Secondly, I wonder if there is any topic you would like me to cover going forward, and of course, feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions regarding topics I've already covered so far. I appreciate each and every one of you if you could take this little action for me in return and share this podcast with anyone who you think may benefit from hearing this and much more to come in 2021. Many thanks in advance.
Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.
Yes.
Because you need to have a hierarchy of improvement. You need to be aiming for something, and that means you're going to be lesser than people who've already attained along that dimension.
Yes.
And that can give rise to envy. So the question is, who should you defeat in the final analysis? And the answer is you should defeat your former self. You should be constantly trying to do that. And you're the right control for yourself too, because you're the one who's had all your advantages and disadvantages. And so if you want to compete fairly with someone, then you should be competing with you.
What could you do to improve yourself? Well, let's step one step backwards. The first question might be, why should you even bother improving yourself? And I think the answer to that is something like, so you don't suffer any more stupidly than you have to. And maybe so others don't have to either. It's something like that. You know, like there's a real injunction at the bottom of it. It's not some casual self-help doctrine. It's that if you don't organize yourself properly, you'll pay for it, and in a big way, and so will the people around you. Now, and you could say, well, I don't care about that, but that's actually not true. You actually do care about that, because if you're in pain, you will care about it. And so you do care about it, even if it's just that negative way, you know. It's very rare that you can find someone who's in excruciating pain who would ever say, well, it would be no better if I was out of this. Sort of pain is one of those things that brings the idea that it would be better if it didn't exist along with it. It's incontrovertible. So you get your act together so that there isn't any more stupid pain around you than necessary.
If you're improving yourself, then what you are doing is competing with your lesser self. And then you might also ask, well, what is that lesser self? And that lesser self would be resentful and bitter and aggressive and vengeance-seeking and all of those things that go along with having a negative moral character. And those are things that interfere with your ability to progress as you move forward through life. Personal responsibility is to compete with yourself, is to be slightly better than yourself the next day.
Yes.
And it better in some way that you can actually manage, and that's humility. It's right, like, well, I'm a flawed person, and I've got all my problems. Could I be as good as person X? It's like not the right question. The right question is, could you be slightly better tomorrow than your currently flawed self? And the answer to that is, if you have enough humility to set the bar properly low, then you could be better tomorrow than you are today. Because what you also have to do is you have to say, well, here's all my flaws and my insufficiencies, and the best that someone that flawed and insufficient could do to improve and actually do it is this. And that's not worth going out in the street and celebrating with placards, you know. It's like, well, this is why I tell people to clean their room. It's not going to brag to someone that you did that. But someone as insufficient as you might be able to manage it. And that means you actually are on the pathway to self-improvement and you're transcending your former self. And you might say, well, what's the right way of being in the world, if there is such a thing? And it's not acting according to a set of rules. It's attempting continually to transcend the flawed thing that you currently are.
Do me a favor, my friend. Please share your thoughts with me using the comment box below. Get in touch with me directly at Fighterpreneur on Facebook and Instagram, or through my blog at fighterpreneur.com, where you can find even more of this content, visuals and other useful resources. I have some big news to share with you guys. I wanted to announce and invite you to check out my new YouTube channel at Father Parents Life, where I'll be posting great motivational videos for more inspiration and happiness almost daily. So please go ahead and make sure you watch and subscribe, never missing these amazing videos I put together for you to help you stay motivated and ideally remaining on top of our extraordinary lives we are all gifted with. I'm going to list all the links and resources in the show notes so you can easily go back and check everything I mentioned in this episode. Sounds good? Here you go. That's all from me for this episode. So hope you guys enjoy listening and learn something new, actionable and useful once again.